I'm Kris Gardner of the Houston Round Bar Review, speaking with someone new to Houstonians and Houston fans, but you get to know her, Coach Vernette Skeete, new head coach
Hi.
at Texas Southern University. Coach, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm blessed. I'm eager. I'm ready to go.
And you're busy. So
I'm
we're,
busy.
so we're
Yes.
trying to squeeze this in. So for those who don't know, tell us about your background, basketball, career, coaching, all those things.
Well, I think the easiest thing to know about me is that I'm a competitor and I compete. I pretty much won on every level as a player and a coach I've been on. I've been a high school coach. I've been a junior college coach. I've been the Division One, ACC, SEC, Big Ten, Big East. I've had quite a plethora of experience when it comes to basketball, and I'm excited. I mean, I pretty much have won a championship in some format in every place I've been. Been a really good job of rebuilding and blossoming programs. So I'm super excited about being here at TSU. And this is the first place that I've been that I don't really have to essentially rebuild, but more or less ascend. So this will be a different challenge, but exciting challenge.
Now you've been at Power Five programs as a
Mm-hmm.
coach.
Mm-hmm.
You played ball at Alcorn State.
Mm-hmm.
So was your time at Alcorn State a reason to help you want to decide to take over at Texas Southern?
Well, yeah, I thought it was interesting. I feel like there's just been an energy and a spirit behind HBCUs as well, that's progressive and bringing us to the light. And I just thought that maybe taking some of my experience and hearing the things that are good, like coming to TSU, I realized that they had everything. It's always that anything you need to be successful is here. We have everything here that maybe some of the Power Fives have. Now they may have three of them, and we may have one of them. So that's where the disparity comes in. But we have it, and what I've known, I've been working on the offense, and for about 3 years, and just building and growing it and fine tuning it. There's not necessarily a place known for basketball like hierarchy or offense and things like that. I wanted to change that. I wanted to bring in and show case how you can take an athletic conference that's pretty known for getting up in your face and traditionally pressing and going, and then to meet the Power Fives, and they can't defensively, kind of hold those to the same as they do in conference. And, that's kind of been a mindset I saw when I was watching the tournament last year, that it's a SWAC team has never won the NCAA tournament. And that I was like, wow, I want to do that. Well, Lord, I want that one. So, that's kind of my mission, my goals here, to bring and shed a light on a place that I've played. And I think that, competitive wise, with the right offense and the right teaching, these kids have a chance to be showcased and seen nationally.
How much of a whirlwind has it been for you in these last few days?
You know, there, I just, it's one thing about just being a good person, that so many people want to help and congratulate and be a part of. And, I have been bombarded with love and help and, job. I'm so glad I had my staff in place before I, kind of announced everything, because there's people coming from like Power Five, like, you want to come, right? So I'm so excited, but it's been overwhelming just trying to get shift through all of the job inquiries, the player inquiries, after you coach of an abundance of people, as I have in my career at this point, you have all of them talking, and it's a lot of the transfer portal kids are out there, and I'm like, oh, Coach Skeete is great, go to, and so you're trying to just shift through information to build your roster, to build your staff, to make sure you have things in place, to get your schedule going. Because I haven't done anything yet, but I want to make sure, because I'm here day one, but I want to make sure that I'm building a good product, so that as you're, because I hate, you have people who are always asking for things, and women's basketball can be known for asking for a lot of things, a lot, because we need a lot. But I'm a fan, I'm a huge component of the product has to be good, before you ask for a ton. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm putting a good product out on the floor, and I'm building and I'm growing from there. And I got qualified staff. I didn't hire anybody on my staff, that wasn't a skill developer. And you had to be a high level skill developer. That was the first thing. I had a lot of people saying, hey, I just want to get my foot in the door. And I said, that's with our levels, sometimes we tend to get that kind of inquiry. The person that just wants their shot, just want to get, and so, but in retrospect, as a leader, I had to look at, well, then I'm not giving my kids the best opportunity to move forward, because as you're trying to get your foot in the door, I need somebody who can knock down the door for them. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that I could probably catch a little flack. I didn't necessarily get people who came from Texas, but what I got was the people who could push and grow this program in the direction that it needed, and not take it with the ceiling. I didn't want anybody coming in with the ceiling like, oh, that's just a swag, or that's just an HBCU, and I can be successful there. I wanted people who could run and come in and think, like, I'm at UConn right now. What would I do differently? Mm-hmm. I'm at South Carolina right now. What would I like and operate? And I could challenge them to operate and think on the same mindsets. So at least they may not have the things of those schools, but they will have the experience of them. And that was important to me. I didn't want to bring a kid or recruit anybody and ever that wouldn't have a chance to have the experience of elite level basketball, because elite doesn't mean things. Elite is a mindset. Greatness is a mindset. And that's what I wanted to infuse here as we built, so that there are a lot of houses like we didn't have steak every night growing up. But if we had fried chicken and beans and rice, it tasted like $1 million, because it still was the experience of wholesome love and everything. And you might not have love when you was eating that steak and potatoes, right. But the experience that we're building, you can build it from anything. Me and my brother used to laugh all the time. We go in there looking, and it was nothing. It looked like it was nothing to eat. And my mama would come out and make a gourmet meal out of scratch from ingredients that we didn't know she could make. But the love and the care was in it, to nourish our bodies and to get us where, and it was important to her. And I think that's the mentality that I wanted people coming in, trying to build this program to get where I wanted, the vision of where I wanted to go. And if they didn't say those things in the hiring process, we just said, thank you, maybe another time, because we forget. We get so ambitious about us that we forget that whatever we don't have is what these children will lack. I mean, the young adults, mm-hmm. So it's just what I don't have. If I'm not working to get that, if I get caught up in, I got my first job and I'm not studying and I'm not growing, I'm not building it, then they're going to suffer. And they're going to suffer when we're playing those Power 5 teams. They're going to suffer if we're playing the South Carolina. They're going to suffer if we're playing the UConn. They're going to suffer if we're playing the UTA or SMU to tournament teams. So it's up to me to make sure that I'm bringing those things to the table so they have an expectation of greatness.
Are you able to announce your staff yet? Is that a secret?
My staff is official. They have not made the website yet. We're working on a few things, but my staff is official, as I wanted them to be able to give, their former jobs their, proper notice. So that's what we've been waiting on. But for us, everything here, they're clear. We're good to go with that. We're just making sure they wait out there. But it should be on the website probably by the end of the week.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to make your first recruiting trip as a head coach at TSU?
I have. We actually just came off an eval weekend this weekend. And so we went up to Dallas. It was a lot of great tournaments out there. But I told my staff, our biggest thing is to conquer Texas. We may not be from Texas, but we still can do right by Texas. And I think sometimes people take advantage of, I'm from Texas, I can get so-and-so or that so-and-so, or they come in with a preconceived notion about, I don't like this person, can't deal with this coach. We were all fresh and eager to build relationships. We were in the gym shaking hands, whether teams had players or not. We wanted to open up, we extended, game invitations, bringing their teams down, campus visits. We were out and about. We were just trying to knock down the doors. And I'm sure there'll be more over the course of the summer that we can get to. But we wanted to figure out how we can start keeping this talent home. Like literally, we will be a national scope program, no doubt about that. But we all know we can stay in Texas and get the best of the best and be fueling and competitive, throughout. There's so much, but it's just a matter of exposure. So that's what we're trying to do to make sure we do that. We already have the major cities, we've divided them up and we're trying to conquer them, and get bit. So yeah, it was fun to get out on the road and see people eager. And there's so many great Texas programs. AU, I mean, they want to help us. They want to help us, and I'm all the way down. I'm not gonna name them because I'll leave some out and somebody be mad. But there's so many programs that worked up to us and they want to help. And they want their kids to get seen, and they want to grow this program. They want to grow. They want to be able to come watch them, not just have to sit. And so I said that's great with the fan base. So we're actively working on that. We're trying to get some Houston kids right now to stay home as well. To add to our roster this year, we're trying to do right by the state pretty much. So yeah.
What's been the response on campus? Have you had to do anything kind of surprise you, like they weren't as hyped about women's basketball? You had to like motivate people on campus?
I think we had to set a tone of what our standard was going to be. And I think a little bit of that, like sometimes the basketball world gets to a place where we had this unrealistic expectation of entitlement, once everybody saw that I was coming in knowing that we were going to do the work, the help has been tremendous, so I think that's been the biggest thing. They wanted to know what was going to be my tone. What was did I care? Because this is academia. Mm-hmm. This is academia. People forget that. They think they come in to just be I'm a part of a scholastic, this is a university, mm-hmm. This is a higher education. So they wanted somebody to come in that was going to care about these children getting degrees, not just winning games. And I do. So when we saw that we weren't going to compromise the growth of them academically, and that was somebody that was a part of, and that's fair. A lot of people get into these roles and they feel like, academia it's a fight and it's a struggle. And I think that if I'm doing a disservice to them academically, then I failed them, because women's basketball at this point isn't signing a $75 million contract. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, having a degree matters. You know what I mean? We just watched a legend, one of the greatest women to play basketball, Cynthia Cooper, who was here before me. All respect to her, and I'm trying to make sure I do right by what she built. She had a job, until she retired. So when she finished playing basketball, she had a job. Don Staley has a job. Lisa Leslie has a job. So women's basketball is still working and growing, and you're going to work after you play, and you can get to a place where you can retire like Cynthia Cooper. But at the end of the day, you're going to have a job. So are we truly preparing these kids for what's next? And so some people think that's a strain, or that they're being mean or wrong, or they don't care. And I actually think that's love. I think it's more important to make sure that the academic portion is cared about, and not just these 4 years. No disrespect for any job title, but if you're in college and you win 4 championships for 4 years, and the next 40 years of your life you're working at minimum wage, well, you wasted time. You could have did that straight out of college, out of high school. So we're trying to build leaders. We're trying to build entrepreneurs. We're trying to build risk takers. We're trying to build innovators that can use their skills on the basketball. And if they play as long as they would like, we would love for them to play as long as they can. But the most important thing is that they have the academic background. So I've met we've been great. we've had fun so far. So as long as they stick to making sure my kids get everything they need academically, my young women, we are going to be good. Because I can't have nobody around my players that are not going to bring them excellence.
What is your roster right now? How many spots do you have open?
I am winding. They got closed quick. I think we actually had 2 commits come in over the weekend, which is very fun. And I think we have about 2 more right now who are on the fence, borderline, probably a few calls that they made, push them. I'm about to set up some Zooms. So my first year, I did not want to have a roster full of 15, and no disrespect to the program, but when we look at women's basketball and the state of mental health right now, Maryland can't keep 15 kids happy. South Carolina can't. These teams have 15, maybe too many for women's basketball. In my first year, I didn't want to have 3 or 4 kids in the same position. on the team that can do the same thing. You can't keep that happy. That makes no sense. So while I'm teaching my staff and I'm learning relationships with academics, and learning and teaching my players a new style of play, I didn't want to be bogged down with a bunch of players that look the same in the same spot. That's not, they'll compete. That's dumb. If I'm going to recruit and be a good recruiter, you're what I got. I don't need to recruit another you. And I committed to the other kids that were here that I wouldn't bring in another kid that looked like them. I don't care what my relationship was with them. I wasn't bringing the kid that did exactly what they were doing. So I'm trying to keep my roster small. God protect us from injuries. I get that, but I necessarily don't think that I want to be completely full this year, just because I want to make sure that I'm giving these kids a fair shot that have already been here.
How have you had a chance to look at non-conference schedule?
Yes, we are still building it, some of it, because it wasn't finished. So we are completing that as well. And we're excited about what we're bringing to the table, because we have some challenges. But challenges that we feel like we can compete with, especially if everybody buys in and we finish this roster up and they take pride in learning this offense. We should be we're going to make some noise.
Will you have home games non-conference this year?
We have a few. Obviously it's a little harder to get people to come on down, but that's what we're working on, changing the trajectory of. The schedule was a little behind, so we don't have the luxury of having too much our way this year. We have to kind of be at the mercy of schedulers who still have spots open, and trying to keep it. We're trying to not go so far away, if we have to. And again, this is all. It's still up in the air, but we're working on that to try to finalize. And again, I just got in here on the last week or so, and we had to fill the whole conference in about 2 or 3 games, so we're still trying to work on that. So,
we're almost done, because I know your time is short today, but I'm asking you to let's try to do this on a semi-regular basis so we can talk about TSU and the program.
Yeah.
Who would you say were some of your biggest influences in coaching?
I have been blessed with a lot of great teachers. Starting off with coming into the Division I era was Katie Meyer. I have to credit her for a lot of what my philosophy was, because when I came in, she sat me down and, she said, "Hey, Skeete, here's the layout of women's basketball. As an African-American woman, what do you want to be?" So often we are known and labeled as recruiters, the ones that we go get the kids. And people are happy with us in that role. And she said, "Hey, if you want to be a recruiter, then fine. If you want to be a basketball coach, then fine, let me know." And from that day, I said, "Well, I want to be a basketball coach. I don't want to just be a recruiter." She opened up everything. I was learning about Nike budgets. I was learning about the video. I was doing a scout with her against a Power 5 team, the summer before, that we ended up using. And so she always asked my opinion and my thoughts, and she engaged me. And she written out over the course. I've went back and I've studied, the Dean Smith and the line of offense and a lot of that, the flow. And, I've watched a ton of stuff and I've grew from that, the pack line. But like the person who actually just got my mindset, even coming from, because I graduated from the SWAC and I was, but how there was a lot that I didn't know. There was a lot of different things and understanding different flows. And so she sat down and she opened it and she triggered my mind to want to know more. So I would definitely give her credit for just jump starting me in the right direction. I mean, being in the Big East, you work with the Doug Brunos, you work with Creighton and Villanova, Harry, that was like their style of play. It helped me increase my basketball IQ for its offensive flow. Because one, you had to guard it, so you had to understand it. But it taught you different offenses. So that's what, like, the blend of my offense I feel is great at, because now they've been successful taking, probably maybe, mid-level players and being very competitive. You saw Creighton go far into the tournament this year. You South Dakota State. You see these teams be very successful because they have a style of play. They have an offensive structure. And so I'm trying to infuse that with athletes a little bit more. and blend that combination of having, I know read and react is the term, but my offensive kind of genre is more of a feel and flow. And so when I do that and that, so a lot of that I'm doing a run on because I get excited about basketball, but I would really say, and then Carolyn Keeger, she was the offensive guru. We were at Marquette, we were the smallest team in the top 25. We were the Big East. We transitioned and, they may be back, but at the time we were there, Marquette was no longer a mid-major program. We changed it. And that's the same mindset of freshness I want. When I got to Miami, we were at the bottom of the ACC. When I left, we were winning conference championships and tying with Duke, and we were sending 2 kids to the WNBA. Same thing at Marquette. Like, that's the mentality and the momentum that I want to build here. Just that ability to rebuild and refresh and ascend people's mind to another level. So, yeah.
Last thing, real quick, what's your message to Texas Southern fans and alums about Coach Vernette Skeete?
Come support us. But we're going to make you proud. We're going to put a good product on the floor that you're going to be proud of, I'm not going to ask for nothing until we can present something. But as we do, support these girls, tweet them out, follow them, give them love and support. A lot of them are away from home right now. They're going to need you in the stands. That's the beauty of that. I think the SEC does a great job of supporting their kids. I mean, that's some of the loudest gyms to be in. And the girls get excited. They take it more serious. And I think when there's an accountability of the fans there, players work harder. When you're going into an empty gym, it's almost like you're working for nothing. So, I would implore them. I know we're battling a ton in the city of Houston. You got the Rockets, you got everything around, but we're gonna put a good product out there and spend and invest at least 2 or 3 games to come out this year and say, hey, and that you see me out and about, introduce yourself. You're gonna see my kids running around the gym. If you love basketball, even if you're not a TSU fan, like, get these kids around the game. Bring your daughters, bring your young children, bring your young sons. Like, bring them in and let them see basketball, because it's going to be a fun style of play.
Thank you, Coach Skeete.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.